What's the value of listening well, do you reckon?
Not sure.
Huh.
Don't do it.
That's pretty cheeky.
I'm kidding. Okay.
What's the cost of not listening well?
I think the problem is that there's a difference between listening to what people are saying and listening to what they're telling you. And most people are pretty good at listening to what people have to say and then preparing a response or a defence. But I think it's a lot harder to listen to what people are actually telling you. Mm. That's what made COVID hard, right? Is that when you're running a workshop or an online meeting or something, you had chat and you had people's voices and you had their faces. So in theory, you had all the ingredients you needed to speak and listen. But all the stuff that you actually need contextually to hear what people are telling you, tone, vibe, the mood of the room, body language, that was all gone. Mm-hmm. Good listening. Look at you, you're like,
Role model.
Mm-hmm. Like it's actually a little bit disconcerting. I'm like, why are you jumping in? And so I think listening is kind of about this. And but it's also about like...
Yeah, it's building on, isn't it?
Yes.
It's sort of, yes.
We don't know how to talk anymore now that we're talking about listening.
But the other distinction could be listening doesn't have to mean silence. Silence helps with listening.
Good.
Right? So to me, listening is about, I think silence helps get a cleaner signal, right? So you can hear it better. And I think if listening is only about silence, then it's disconcerting.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
So the reason we started having this conversation is because off camera, we're not allowed to do this, off camera, Cam was talking about listening and interruptions and I'll make sure we're getting the balance right between building on each other and like just going blah, 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 on top of each other. And Cam and I were having a whole bunch of rows, a couple months ago maybe, mid-lockdown, where I was getting frustrated at feeling like I was being interrupted when I was in the middle of a build. So where I get frustrated with it is when I'm in the middle of a build, right? And I'm going...
What's a build?
Well, it's about this. Because really, okay, what we really have to think about here is it's this, this, and this, and they come together in this way, and Cam would go, also this detail. And I'd be like, I was in a build, and now there's this little rock on my balloon. Anyway, and so what was really great is because Cam is a very empathetic and supportive partner, he was like, right, well, you don't like me interrupting? Very good, I'm not going to interrupt anymore. And so he made an effort when I was speaking to be like...
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking hated it.
So rather than, I'm wondering, let me check, is it better to ask a question than to make a statement to help the person take it further?
Yeah, but not if it's a shit question.
Like that one?
Yeah.
I just asked.
No. So yes, but also what makes me the most upset when I'm building, more upset than being interrupted, is feeling like I'm just pinging around in a room by myself and that I'm not getting any feedback. I'm just shouting into a black hole. I need someone to be like, yes and no and blah blah.
Yeah.
That's why I like this.
So is this about ego, right?
Yeah.
So if you're validated when you're heard, right? And so if the other person feels like the only way I can be validating this conversation is to have my point heard, as opposed to just help the other person be heard.
Well, I think it depends, doesn't it? And that's kind of the point. And it's trying to understand what you're listening for. Because sometimes it's exactly that. And it's like when your friend rings you up and they're like, oh, my husband's an asshole and my boss is awful and all this stuff's going on. And they don't really want you to go, well, I know 3 very effective interventions that you could apply. They want you to go, oh, that is so shit. So there is that. There's the validating listening to be heard bit. But I think there are other versions.
I agree.
Because my building one, I don't want you to go, yeah, really good idea. I want you to be like, poke a hole, build on it, connect it to another thing. Yeah, I want that.
Because I reckon one of the forms of listening that I think when we're on fire, we do really well, which is what I call generative listening, right? When this is this idea of building on, right? It's like, you got an idea? Cool, let me help build on that. Yeah. And that's different to the sympathetic listening of, oh, poor you, or, yeah, God, that's really tough, right? That's kind of like empathy or empathetic listening. This generative stuff, though, it's like, let's take it somewhere.
What are the other ones?
Well, I mentioned Jennifer Garvey-Berger before, and I like her. She has a lovely little simple model about listening to win, which is like, I'm going to prove my point, and it's going to be better than your point. Right? And I'm going to win. Right? Then there's listening to fix, which is, poor you, let me offer you 3 pieces of advice.
Yeah.
And then there's listening to learn. And I like that as beyond learning, I reckon it's like then listening to create.
Yeah, there's
right?
listening to build. There's
Yeah, or
listening
build
to
or generate
create. I
or
love
something.
that.
Yeah. So let's add that one on top. Right?
Okay.
So, so I think I talk about another model I use is the 4 levels of intention. Well, in fact, there's 5. 1 is bad and the other 4 are good, right?
Right. What's the bad one?
The bad one is what I call combatant. So that's the listening to win, right?
Oh, that's me at the pub.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna come in, going to smash you.
Yeah.
You're going to be smaller after this.
Yeah, you are.
I'm going to be bigger. You're going to be smaller. Then there's troubleshooter, which is I'm going to help you fix your problem. I'm going to listen, and then I'm going to go do this. Then there's similar to that as advisor, which is I'm going to listen, I'm going to give you 3 choices, but you get to choose. Right? I'm still you're relying on me for the answer. And then you get into enabler, which is I'm listening to help you think through it for yourself, and I'm going to ask you questions, and you're going to come up with different options, and then you're going to choose one, right? But you're going to do all the work. And then there's co-creator, which is that generative sort of stuff that we're talking about. So there's a billion models of this, but I reckon the higher up you go in any of them, it's about letting go of the ego, and kind of getting out of the way and letting the idea be in the center.
Well, that's that cliche, isn't it? That I can't remember how it goes. Cam.
That one. It's a really good one.
Small minds discuss people.
Yes.
Big minds discuss ideas.
Small minds discuss people, bigger minds discuss ideas. I'll claim that one.
Really, really big minds talk about ideas.
Yeah.
The idea of ideas.
Yeah, and they talk about what's in their mind.
Metacognition.
Did you get that? They talk about what's in their mind.
Yes, I got it, but this wasn't good.
I thought it was great.
What are you listening for? Are you listening to fix? Are you listening to learn? Are you listening to build? Are you listening to win? Are you not listening at all? Let us know.